Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome again to Read Differently. Now we're just going to call it the book experience, okay? I know it's a long thing to be saying Read Differently book experience. So I am just cutting it short to the book experience. We did an amazing book before. If you have not seen that video, check it out. That was The Last Arrow. Now we are on our second book, and this is the Assertiveness workshop. And I did not know just how much work this would be. It is heavy duty, packed, get pen, and loads of paper for the entire series. Today we're going to make it a little bit lighter, but there may be some things that are brought up throughout this book that feels too personal to share, and I will under no circumstance force or turn anybody's hand to speak, because it gets deep. It is a workbook, and it's great. So we're just going to go straight into it. Here we go. The Assertiveness workbook. So we are going to be focusing on communication styles. All right, this is our first look to communication styles, part 1. The author's name is Randy J. Paterson, PhD. He's a clinical psychologist and the coordinator of Change Ways, a depression treatment program at Vancouver Hospital and Health Sciences Center in Vancouver, British Columbia. He's an adjunct professor in the Department of Psychology and associate faculty in the Department of Psychiatry, Faculty of Medicine at the University of British Columbia. He has taught more than 1,200 therapists in the course on more than 100 training seminars on topics such as assertiveness training, depression, and stress management. So, what really is assertiveness about? It is about being there. And this was the most striking definition of assertiveness that I was not expecting. The book is going to help those of us who are tired of wearing a mask. And how appropriate is that analogy right now? We're tired of wearing a mask. We can't breathe with it very well on. And we want to just be naked-faced, be ourselves, but not be defenseless. And so that really is what the workbook is about. Here, I have just a little snippet about what is called the Assertiveness scorecard. The writer, Randy J. Paterson, PhD, actually gives us the ability to use the self-card in the scorecard in the back of the book. And I mean, I just love that he had put that up straight up in the front of the book to say we can make as many copies that we want because we are going to need it. All right. So here is a caution that I want to read directly from the book, and it is about violent relationships. And it's really, really important that anyone who is tuning in, listening, and watching this video, that if you are in a violent relationship, you do not take this book experience that we're doing as a means to get you out or to help you to get out of your situation. So I'm going to read it completely because I think it is critical. So, a caution about violent relationships. Some people find themselves in violent relationships, sometimes with family members, sometimes with others. Many of these people believe that assertiveness training might help them to deal with the violence of others or to reduce the temptation to engage in violence themselves. They may be right, but these problems deserve more specialized attention than a workbook such as this one can provide. If violence plays a part in any of your relationships, you are urged not to regard this book as the solution. Instead, please address these issues with a counselor. If you are reading this manual as part of an assertiveness training group, please let your leader know that you have this additional concern. One reason that the assertiveness workbook may be inappropriate for violent relationships is that you will be encouraged to deal with troublesome situations directly and assertively as you feel ready for them. Assertive strategies are designed to help you maintain control over your own life while letting go of attempting to control others. If someone close to you is violent, they may be threatened by your efforts to take back control over your life. Unless this is dealt with carefully, some violence on their part may follow. If you have a history of violence yourself, then trying to practice being assertive with others may put you in a trigger situation that cause you to escalate into violence without meaning to do so. Specialized help will be needed to reduce this risk. Please seek help to deal with this issue. All right, now we will move on. So what is assertiveness? Assertiveness is a style of communication, but it is only one of 4 styles, as you can see here. The other 3 being passive aggressive and passive aggressive. It is important to know that different styles of communication are not types of people. I will repeat that again, and I thought that was really, really important to learn, that your style of communication does not state who you are wholly as a person. It is important to know that different styles are not types of people. All right, so let's go through and look at the first one, passive. The passive style is designed to avoid conflict at all costs. The result is that we give control over our lives to other people, even when we don't want to do so. We may avoid eye contact, appear nervous, look downward, and make ourselves small. We can think of the passive style as a posture of submission to others. It also looks like explaining your actions, trying desperately to gain approval and striving to solve everyone else's problems. There are beliefs and emotions connected. A sense of helplessness, as though we are not in charge of our own lives. This indeed comes from the belief that we are not allowed to behave any other way. This results in a profound fear of being rejected, helpless, frustrated, and overall having resentment on all the demands that we're getting. How does this develop? Some people grow up in extremely considerate families. Some children are taught to be perfectly obedient. In some families, children's requests, needs, or boundaries are never respected. In some families, assertiveness unfortunately leads to violence. And yet for others, it's just that they've never seen someone be assertive. And so they have no role model. The aggressive image. So for the aggressive communication style, after behaving aggressively, the feeling of power and justification usually fades quickly. In its place come guilt for hurting the feelings of others, shame at not being able to deal with the situations and people more rationally, and a reduced self-esteem. How can this style develop? Having an aggressive parent who serves as a model, low self-esteem that causes you to be threatened by minor difficulties, initial experiences of obtaining what you want through aggression, and failing to see the negative consequences of aggression. The passive aggressive style. So this style combines elements of both passive and aggressive. The anger of the aggressive style and the fear of the passive style both have influence. The anger makes you want to get the other person, but the fear holds you back from doing it directly. When we are passive aggressive, we disguise our aggression so that we can avoid taking responsibility for it. And the assertiveness style. I love this frog. I love the image of him holding up this leaf to just shield himself and not being stressed over it. When we behave assertively, we are able to acknowledge our own thoughts and wishes honestly without the expectation that others will automatically give in to us. We express respect for the feelings and opinions of others without necessarily adopting their opinions or submitting to their demands. Assertiveness is about believing that you have a choice. It is a difficult skill to learn and requires self-control. What's really, really interesting, and this will be our last slide, is that there is what is called an alternator style. It's not, considered one of the main 4 styles of communication, but some people do have a way of sometimes being passive, sometimes aggressive, sometimes passive aggressive. And the main problem for those who swing between these styles is that they are actually too passive. And the solution is simply to learn better assertive styles. We have come to the end of our presentation. All right. Now we get to talk. I am going to, hi Antonia, welcome. I'm going to ask you to get your pen and paper. And what's going to happen is that I'm going to give you the descriptions for the four communication styles. First, I'm going to give you for behavior, and I guess you can just write P-A, or A, well, assert. I was just about to, that wasn't gonna work. But those who know me. All right, so if you want to put down the actual word passive aggressive, or assertive, you may do so. If you want to just give some letters, you may do so. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 5 categories: behavior, nonverbal, beliefs, emotions, and goals. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read these out to you, each category at a time, and you just make a check under which one belongs to you that you have been practicing. So behavior for the passive, keep quiet. Don't say you feel, need, or want. Put yourself down frequently. Apologize when you express yourself. Deny that you disagree with others or feel differently. That's the passive behavior. Aggressive. Express your feelings and wants as though any other view is unreasonable or stupid. Dismiss, ignore, or insult the needs, wants, and opinions of others. That's the aggressive behavior. Passive aggressive. Failure to meet the expectations of others through deniable means, forgetting, being delayed, and so on. Deny personal responsibility for your actions. That's passive aggressive behavior. And assertive. Express your needs, wants, and feelings directly and honestly. Don't assume you are correct or that everyone will feel the same way. Allow others to hold other views without dismissing or insulting them. If anybody wants me to read over another read over one of the sections, let me know. You can raise your hand and I'll do that. If you've been able to figure out where you stand with that, you can just give me a thumbs up. All right. Okay, thank you. Nonverbal. Nonverbal passive. You make yourself small. You look down, you hunch your shoulders, you avoid eye contact, and you speak softly. That's the nonverbal style for passive. The aggressive nonverbal. You make yourself large and threatening. Eye contact. Voice is fixed. Eye contact is penetrating. Your voice is also loud and perhaps shouting. Nonverbal, that's aggressive. Nonverbal, passive aggressive, usually mimics the passive. So I'll read the passive again. You make yourself small, you look down, you hunch your shoulders, you avoid eye contact, and you speak softly. The nonverbal for assertive. Your body is relaxed. Movements are casual. Eye contact is frequent, but not glaring. So that's your nonverbal for the assertive style. If you have that done, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I know you've done that part.
Can you repeat that last one? Nonverbal,
sure.
aggressive,
For
assertive.
The body's relaxed, movements are casual, eye contact is frequent but not glaring. So you're not staring somebody down. All right. Beliefs. The typical beliefs of someone who is practicing the passive style. Others' needs are more important than yours. They have rights, you don't. Their contributions are valuable, yours are worthless. I'll read that again. The needs of others are more important than yours. They have rights, you don't. Their contributions are valuable, yours are worthless. The beliefs of the aggressive style. Your needs are more important and more justified than others. You have rights, they don't. Your contributions are valuable, theirs are silly, wrong, or worthless. I know, strong words. Nobody wants to. Who wants to be able to say, yeah, I'm like that. Or I use that style. I know it's a rough one. Passive aggressive, your beliefs. You are entitled to get your own way even after making commitments to others. You are not responsible for your actions. So I'll read that again. You are entitled to get your own way even after making commitments to others. You are not responsible for your actions. And beliefs for the assertive style. Your needs and those of others are equally important. You have equal rights to express yourselves. You both have something valuable to contribute. You are responsible for your behavior. All right, when you're finished, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I know that you're done. All right, thank you. Emotions. Emotions of the passive person. Or not, sorry, passive style, not person. Passive style. Fear of rejection, helplessness, frustration and anger, resentment towards others who use you, reduced self-respect. So these are the emotions of the passive style. I'll say it again. Fear of rejection, helplessness, frustration and anger, resentment toward those who use you, reduced self-respect. Emotions for the aggressive style. Anger or powerful at the time and victorious when you win. Afterward, remorse, guilt, self-hatred for hurting others. So I'll read that again for the aggressive. Angry or powerful at the time and victorious when you win. Afterward, remorse, guilt, self-hatred for hurting others. Emotions for passive-aggressive style. Fear that you would be rejected if you were more assertive. Fear that you would be rejected if you are more assertive. Resentment at the demands of others. Fear of being confronted. Fear that you would be rejected if you are more assertive. Resentment at the demands of others. Fear of being confronted. And emotions for assertive. You feel positive about yourself and the way you treat others. Your self-esteem rises. You feel positive about yourself and the way you treat others. Your self-esteem rises. Go ahead and give thumbs up whenever you're ready.
Sophie, can you read the passive-aggressive again, please?
Sure. Passive-aggressive emotion. Fear that you would be rejected if you were more assertive. Resentment at the demands of others. Fear of being confronted. Here's the last part. Goals. The goal of the passive style is to avoid conflict. Please others at any expense to yourself. Give others control over you. So the goal of the passive style is to avoid conflict, to please others at any expense to yourself, to give others control over you. The aggressive goal. Win at any expense to others, gain control over them. So the goal of the aggressive style is to win at any expense to others and gain control over them. The passive-aggressive goal is to get your own way without having to take responsibility. The passive-aggressive goal is to get your own way without having to take responsibility. And the assertive goal is that both you and others keep your self-respect. Express yourself without having to win all the time. No one controls anyone else. Again, both you and others keep your self-respect. Express yourself without having to win all the time. No one controls anyone else.